The older I get, the less certain I am that success is what I thought it was. For most of my life, success seemed fairly obvious. Work hard, earn more, achieve more, build more, progress, improve, keep moving forward, just like many other people did. But lately I've started wondering something. What if success wasn't actually the destination? What if it was just the story we were taught? And what if the things we're chasing aren't necessarily the things that make life feel meaningful? I think many Gen Xers inherited a very specific definition of success. A good career, a nice house, financial security, professional achievement, being productive, being respected. And to be fair, there was logic behind that. Previous generations had often experienced uncertainty, financial hardship, instability. So success became closely linked with security. And for decades, many of us have followed that blueprint because it made sense and because it worked, at least partially. It gave us stability, it gave us options, it gave us choices. But I think many people eventually discover that success and fulfillment aren't necessarily the same thing. One thing I've noticed is that achievement has a habit of moving the goalposts. You reach one milestone and then another appears. You achieve one goal and then immediately start chasing the next. And eventually you realize something. There is always another target, another level, another ambition, another thing to achieve. Which means achievement alone can never really create contentment, because achievement is built on moving forwards towards something, while contentment is really about appreciation. And those things are very different. The older I've become, the more my priorities have shifted. Things I once thought were important feel less important, and things I barely noticed have become incredibly valuable. Like time, like freedom, like health, those meaningful conversations, quiet mornings with a great cup of coffee, having flexibility, strong relationships, getting some peace and quiet, the ability to decide how I spend my day. Those things don't look impressive from the outside, but they feel really valuable from the inside, and perhaps that's the difference. I think many Gen Xers are beginning to redefine success according to how life feels rather than how it looks. I actually mapped out exactly how I worked through this shift in something called the Midlife Redesign Blueprint, if that's ever useful to you. So maybe success isn't about accumulation. Maybe it's about alignment, and maybe it's building a life that reflects your values. Maybe it's about waking up without constant pressure. Maybe it's having enough rather than always wanting more. Maybe it's creating freedom instead of status, and perhaps the second half of life gives us permission to ask a different question, not what can I achieve next, but how do I want my life to feel? I don't regret striving, I don't regret working hard, but I do think my definition of success has changed. And perhaps that's one of the gifts of growing older, not certainty, but perspective. The ability to recognise what truly matters. And maybe success was never about achievement at all. It was never about building stuff and having more. Maybe it was about creating a life you don't need to escape from. If your own definition of success has shifted over the years, I'd love to know what it looks like for you now. Drop it in the comments. And if you're somewhere in the process of redefining what success means to you, I've created the Midlife Redesign Blueprint. It walks through exactly this kind of redesign, step by step. It's not free because the work that went into it deserves that, but if it feels right for where you are right now, you'll find it linked below. I'm Angela. Thank you for watching. And if you'd like to continue this conversation, then please join me for the rest of this journey. Subscribe, and that means you won't miss the next step. Bye for now.